Right now, as you're watching this, your body is losing water. Every breath you exhale, every blink, every second, water is leaving you, and you probably don't even notice. But what if you stopped replacing it? What if, starting right now, not a single drop of water entered your body ever again? How long would you actually survive? The answer is more terrifying and more fascinating than you think. Your body is roughly 60% water. That's not a fun fact, that's a structural reality. Water isn't just something you drink, it's the solvent your cells use to perform every chemical reaction keeping you alive. Your blood is over 90% water, your brain about 75%, even your bones are 31% water. Without it, you don't just get thirsty, you begin to disintegrate from the inside out, organ by organ, system by system, in a predictable and horrifying sequence. And that sequence is what we're going to walk through today, hour by hour, day by day, so you understand exactly what happens when the water stops. If that sounds like a journey worth taking, hit subscribe now because this timeline gets dark fast. Most people think dehydration is just about feeling thirsty, but thirst is only the very first warning, and by the time you feel it, the damage has already begun.
Have you ever gone half a day without drinking anything and barely noticed? That's exactly what makes the first 6 hours so dangerous. You feel almost nothing while your body is already in crisis mode. Within the first hour, your kidneys detect the drop. They immediately begin conserving water by concentrating your urine. You might notice it turning a darker yellow. That's not a minor detail, that's your kidneys screaming. By hour 3, your blood volume starts to decrease. Not dramatically, but enough. Your heart has to work slightly harder to push thicker, more concentrated blood through your veins. Your blood pressure subtly shifts. Your cells, which rely on a constant flow of water to transport nutrients and remove waste, begin slowing down their operations. By hour 6, your brain, that 75% water organ, starts sending out real alarms. You feel the first pang of thirst. But here's the cruel trick. Thirst doesn't accurately reflect how dehydrated you are. By the time your brain triggers that sensation, you've already lost about 1 to 2% of your body's total water. That might sound small, but that tiny percentage is enough to reduce your cognitive function by up to 25%. Your reaction time slows, your focus blurs, and the real suffering hasn't even started yet.
What if your body had to choose which organs get water and which ones don't? Because that's exactly what's happening right now. By hour 6 to 12, your hypothalamus, a tiny almond-sized region in your brain, takes full emergency control. It floods your system with antidiuretic hormone, or ADH, essentially ordering your kidneys to stop releasing water at almost any cost. Your urine output drops dramatically. What little you produce is dark, concentrated, and burns slightly. Your mouth goes dry, not just uncomfortable dry, but sticky, cotton-like dry, because your salivary glands are being told to shut down production. Water is too valuable to waste on saliva. Your skin starts losing its elasticity. If you pinch the back of your hand right now, the skin would snap back instantly. But at this stage, it would stay tented for a second or two. That's called turgor, and it's a clinical sign doctors use to assess dehydration. Your muscles begin to cramp because the electrolyte balance in your cells is destabilizing. Sodium and potassium, the two ions responsible for every nerve signal and muscle contraction, are falling out of ratio. Every movement starts to feel heavy, sluggish, and wrong, and your body is only 12 hours in. The real nightmare begins when the sun rises again.
Can you remember the last time you went an entire day without drinking anything? Most people never have, and there's a very good reason for that. By hour 12 to 24, your body has lost approximately 3 to 5% of its total water content. That may still sound manageable, but the effects are anything but subtle. Your heart rate increases noticeably, not because you're exercising, but because your blood is thickening. Plasma volume drops, meaning there's literally less fluid for your heart to pump. To compensate, it beats faster, harder, and less efficiently. You develop a pounding headache. This isn't a normal headache. It's caused by your brain physically shrinking slightly as it loses water, pulling away from the skull and tugging on the membranes surrounding it. Every movement intensifies the pain. Your body temperature begins to rise because you're sweating less. Water is too precious to spend on thermoregulation now. You become dizzy when you stand. Your vision may blur at the edges. Nausea sets in, not from something you ate, but because your digestive system is shutting down to conserve resources. You're exhausted, but sleep won't come easily. Your body knows something is deeply wrong, and it's about to get much, much worse. What happens when your body starts shutting down systems it considers non-essential, and you're still conscious to feel every second of it? Welcome to day 2. Between hours 24 and 48, you've crossed a critical threshold. Your body has now lost between 5 and 8% of its water. Your kidneys, which have been heroically conserving every drop, are starting to fail at their secondary job, filtering toxins. Urea, creatinine, and other metabolic waste products begin accumulating in your blood. You can actually taste it, a metallic, bitter flavor that coats your tongue and won't go away. Your digestive system is essentially stopped. There's no saliva to begin breaking down food, no gastric fluid to process it, and no water to move anything through your intestines. Even if you ate, your body couldn't use it. Your eyes begin to sink into their sockets, not metaphorically, but literally. The fat pads and fluid behind your eyes are being reabsorbed. Your lips crack and bleed. Your tongue swells and becomes coated with a white, pasty film. Mentally, you're in serious decline. Confusion, irritability, and disorientation are now constant. You might forget where you are. Some people begin hallucinating. But the organs keeping you alive are about to face their ultimate test. Is there a moment where your body passes a line it can never come back from? Disturbingly, yes, and it often falls somewhere in this window. Between 48 and 72 hours without water, you are in severe, life-threatening dehydration. Your total body water loss is approaching 8 to 10%. At this level, your blood has become so thick and concentrated that it resembles syrup more than fluid. Your heart, which has been racing to compensate, is now struggling against the viscosity. Blood pressure plummets. Your extremities, fingers, toes, lips may begin turning bluish as circulation prioritizes your core organs. Your kidneys are now in acute failure. They've stopped producing urine entirely. The toxins they were supposed to filter are flooding your bloodstream, poisoning you from within. This is called uremia, and it brings waves of nausea, vomiting, and an unmistakable ammonia-like smell on your breath. Your brain, starved of adequate blood flow and drowning in metabolic waste, begins misfiring. Seizures become a real possibility. Your thoughts are no longer coherent. Time loses meaning. You drift between consciousness and a foggy, dreamlike state where reality bends. Most survival experts agree, beyond 72 hours, rescue must come with IV fluids, not just a glass of water, because something irreversible is happening inside. What does it feel like when your brain, the most complex object in the known universe, starts shutting itself down? By day 3 to 4, you may no longer be able to answer that question. Your brain cells are exquisitely sensitive to dehydration. Neurons require a precise balance of water and electrolytes to fire properly. When that balance collapses, so does cognition. You stop recognizing people. Language becomes difficult, not because you've forgotten words, but because the neural pathways that retrieve them are failing. You may speak in fragments or not at all. Your body temperature is now dangerously unstable. Without the ability to sweat, you're at the mercy of your environment. In hot climates, your core temperature could spike to 104 degrees Fahrenheit or higher, entering the range of heat stroke, which compounds the organ damage already underway. Your muscles begin breaking down in a process called rhabdomyolysis. The proteins released from dying muscle tissue flood your already failing kidneys, accelerating their destruction. It's a vicious cycle. Each failing system makes every other system fail faster. Swallowing becomes nearly impossible, Your throat is so dry that the tissues have begun to crack and stick together. Even if someone offered you water now, your body might not be able to process it without medical intervention, and the clock is still ticking. Have you ever heard the term multi-organ failure? It sounds clinical, distant, like something that happens to other people. But by day 4 to 5, it's happening to you. Your kidneys have been offline for over a day now. Your liver, tasked with detoxifying your blood, is overwhelmed by the buildup of waste products it was never designed to handle alone. Liver enzymes spike. Jaundice, a yellowing of the skin and eyes, may appear as bilirubin accumulates. Your heart is in critical distress. The electrolyte imbalance, particularly dangerously high potassium levels caused by kidney failure, is disrupting your cardiac rhythm. Your heartbeat becomes irregular, fluttering and skipping in patterns called arrhythmias. Any one of these irregular beats could trigger a fatal cardiac arrest. Your lungs may begin filling with fluid, a paradox of dehydration. As your blood vessels lose integrity and become more permeable, plasma leaks into your lung tissue, a condition called pulmonary edema. You're drowning internally while dying of thirst externally. Your consciousness is now barely flickering. Coma is likely. Pain, mercifully, may be fading, not because anything is healing, but because your brain no longer has the resources to process it. What comes next is the body's final act. How does the human body actually die from dehydration? It's not one single event. It's a cascade, a domino chain that ends in silence. Between day 5 and 7, sometimes sooner in extreme heat, your body reaches terminal dehydration. Total water loss exceeds 15%. At this point, your circulatory system is collapsing. Your blood volume is so low that your heart simply cannot generate enough pressure to deliver oxygen to your vital organs. This is called hypovolemic shock, and it is the most common direct cause of death in dehydration. Your cells, starved of oxygen and drowning in their own waste, begin dying in massive numbers. Your brainstem, the ancient, primitive region responsible for breathing and heartbeat, makes its final attempts to keep you alive. Breathing becomes shallow, irregular, gasping. These are called agonal breaths, and they are not conscious efforts, they are reflexes. Your pupils dilate and become fixed. Your skin takes on a mottled, grayish appearance. Your core temperature drops as metabolism ceases, and then, quietly, the heart stops. Not with drama, not with a climactic final beat. It simply stops. The entire process, from first thirst to final heartbeat, took less than a week. But this story isn't over, because there's one question we haven't answered yet. So how long can you actually last? The truth is, there's no single answer, and anyone who gives you one is oversimplifying a terrifyingly complex equation. The general range is 3 to 7 days, but that window swings wildly based on factors most people never consider. Temperature is the biggest variable. In desert heat above 110 degrees Fahrenheit, death can come in as little as 36 hours. In cool, shaded environments with minimal exertion, some people have survived beyond 10 days. Your body size matters. Larger individuals carry more water reserves but also require more to maintain basic functions. Age plays a role. Children and the elderly dehydrate catastrophically faster due to higher surface area to volume ratios and less efficient kidney function, respectively. Your starting hydration level, fitness, body fat percentage, and even genetic variations in kidney efficiency all shift the timeline. But here's what every survival expert agrees on. By the time you feel genuinely thirsty, you are already behind. The lesson isn't just academic, it's a daily reminder that the glass of water sitting next to you right now is doing more to keep you alive than you've ever given it credit for. Your body is a masterpiece of engineering, but it runs on the simplest fuel in the universe. Don't take it for granted. Drink your water. And if this video made you see hydration differently, share it with someone who needs to hear it.